Today, let's take a look at a totally random PS1 game that's in my wheelhouse, but I've never actually played before. Gekido, Urban Fighters. This one is a 3D beat-em-up plopped out onto the PlayStation 1 in the EU on April of 2000, and in North America on June 2nd of the same year. This one was developed by Nap's team, an Italian studio founded in 1993, and one that's still around to this day making games, apparently. That's always nice to see, a game studio that's still around and not absorbed by like EA or something. I booted this one with pretty much zero idea of what might be waiting for me, and I was immediately struck by one of the most insane opening cutscenes I've ever seen in a game. A man squares off with Satan, the bastard child of Sarah Bryant, and Cammy White battles military men, special attacks being boofed out all over the place, and all this insanity is capped off by Satan getting F5'd into a helicopter. Yeah, I'm sold, let's play this one. Nowhere in that brief opener, though, was the actual story of the game. You have to head to the game's manual if you want that. In the city of New Tokyo, a young innocent girl by the name of Angela has been kidnapped by the Kintaro gang, one of the more powerful gangs in the area. But to what end, though? Well, I'm not sure myself, but I think they plan on sacrificing her to hell or something so they can summon a demon named Akujin and solidify their power in the city. In response to the kidnapping, Angela's family hires a detective, Travis, to track her down. Travis quickly locates her location, but knowing that Angela is in the hands of the Kintaro gang, he contacts his old flame Michelle to help him fight the bastards. Also, Tetsuo and Ushi are there, but there's no mention of them in the manual at all, so I don't know what the hell they're doing. So, now the foursome hits the streets to get Angela back. Game time. I picked my character and we hit downtown streets of New Tokyo at 1:20 a.m. in the morning. A quick cutscene plays and you just start beating people up. Gekido Urban Fighters is a 3D beat-em-up set in a giant sprawling shithole city. Control-wise, you have light punches, heavy punches, and a kick for offense. Every character also has a bevy of combination attacks using these buttons, and all of them are unique to each of the playable characters. You also have combos that are unlocked progressively as you play, but at first I genuinely had no clue what procced the unlock for these moves, but looked around a bit, apparently you unlock them by just doing combos. Makes sense, I guess. You'll also have jumping and crouching attacks at your disposal, and a basic throw as well. Everyone has the same throw, though, which I kind of find disappointing, not gonna lie. If you're curious as to how different each playable character is from one another, they do actually have four distinct movesets. I want to say that statistically they all vary as well, but I'm not entirely sure since it's not mentioned at all. Ushi did feel like he hit a lot harder than Michelle, though, for instance, so it's there, I think. Oh, characters, right. Probably should have elucidated on those a little bit first. By default, you have grizzled street brawling detective Travis, honed military murder missile Michelle, martial arts menace Tetsuo, stands the bike, and Ushi. He's large. As for any other differences, the characters in the bottom row actually get a slightly different path than the ones at the top, with each of those paths having a unique boss as well. Anyway, we commence clobbering time on whatever idiots are stupid enough to stand in your way, which essentially means mashing light punch, light punch, light punch, or heavy punch, heavy punch, heavy punch, or kick, kick, kick at whatever's in flailing range, and well, that sums up combat in general, truthfully. To help shake up the combat a teeny bit is the presence of all manner of weapons that both you and your foes can use. This ranges from knives that you can toss, pipes you can swing, and a ton of different firearms too. Weirdly, it feels like the rifle is the weakest gun in the game. This pistol feels pretty good to use though, and the machine gun is ridiculously broken. Grab this thing when you can, because it absolutely annihilates entire waves of enemies, and bosses, it can also pretty much destroy too. That's combat in a nutshell, and honestly, it's not very good. I hate to be negative almost right out the gate, but man, the combat in this game sucks, and for a variety of reasons. I will take a moment, however, to compliment the fact that all of my strings and special moves came out very reliably and consistently. However, you'll really just fall into using whatever the longest combo is, since, well, it does the most damage, obviously, and it will typically hit the many opponents that will be surrounding you, so it's best to just start wildly swinging through a crowd with whatever your best is. What makes the combat more shit, though, is that none of your attacks have any amount of invincibility whatsoever, which is a problem, since you're typically fighting a ton of enemies at once, and any one tap from them will instantly stop you in your tracks. Typically, that's not even something I would waste my time complaining about. What makes this issue even worse is that enemy characters have attacks that have obnoxious amounts of iframes on them. The head charge the fat-ass grunt does are untouchable for the entirety of the move. Almost every enemy has something like this, and even worse, your combos don't seem to be true strings at all, so your enemies can just snap these invincible attacks out at any given moment and fuck you up with them. I mean, look at this. This is a boss character for reference, but why does his projectile have an absolutely vulgar amount of iframes? This should not be safe at all. I should be able to beat your ass if you're throwing out a projectile and I'm behind you. That's just fighting game 101, really. This problem gets even worse when factoring in those weapons that I mentioned earlier, and by weapons I mean the guns, of course. The AI will just fucking pump your ass full of lead the second they get the chance, and this makes big gang fights even more tedious. These blonde soldiers can also pull grenades out of their ass and blast you with them instantly, which I wouldn't complain about, but there doesn't seem to be any friendly fire, so it's just you that gets hosed, of course. You know, I used to think it was really stupid in Fighting Force how enemies with handguns wouldn't engage at a long range, but walk up to shoot you first. I realize now that that reason is because of fun, because it is so unfun to get plugged from 20 feet away and get comboed from it as well. I'm sorry for ever doubting you as the GOAT beat-em-up, Fighting Force. You earned it for a reason. Thankfully, though, you do have some bullshit of your own to counter this sort of stuff, mainly because of your rage bar. Now, I haven't broken it down yet, but your rage bar basically works like this. It grows as you do battle in New Tokyo and has 3 levels at which you can activate it. A level 1 rage is just a bunch of random attacks strung together. A level 2 duplicates your attacks like a V-ism combo. Both of these are meh, in my opinion, but level 3, however, not only creates a magnetic field that disarms most enemies around you and knocks them down, even better, makes you totally invincible to a majority of enemy attacks while it's active, alongside boosting your damage levels very noticeably. So basically, the second you build 3 bars, you let this bitch rip, since it makes the game at least somewhat even in your favor. On top of this rage level 3, though, you do also have some more traditional get-off-me style attacks. They're kind of lame, honestly. They don't really do much damage, will cost you health if you're not at the max get-off-me meter, and really it's just better to mash in a given desperate situation, honestly. It is something in your back pocket, though, so keep it in mind, I guess. That's combat in general. You'll basically be doing this stuff throughout a ton of urban environments befitting of the game's title, of course. Downtown areas, subways, ships, and warehouses as well. Really, it's a pretty decent spread of levels that I won't go over totally. I'll just highlight some of the ones that I either liked or hated completely. I thought the market level was kind of funny because in the middle of me brawling with all these hoodlums, civilians just started going about their day. Oh yeah, guys, just head out for a little stroll, do your shopping. There's not a huge gang war going on right now or anything. The docks segment of the market also featured the ability to toss enemies into the water to their death, but it was kind of finicky to pull off consistently. It's there, it's just kind of annoying to do overall. The subway section I also thought was really funny for one main reason. At the final boss of this segment, you see him planting time bombs, and then you fight him. The bombs unfortunately go off though, and you have to make a mad dash to get away from the explosion. But if the explosion catches you, you die, but you just get back up and keep going. Which is actually, it's pretty easy to die here since the subway will now be littered with live electric wires that have some very odd hitboxes. I genuinely could not tell where they started and ended for the most part. Though I won't lie to you, you can actually pretty easily avoid the insta-death in this level by just running and not even bothering to evade anything. Yep, just a straight line run out, and you can do it most of the time, no problem. The worst level in this game, though, is easily the Storm Canal, which is just awful. A rushing wave of water is coming right at you, and much like the subway explosion, it will kill you instantly if it touches you. Only this time, if you die here, it restarts the level entirely, so you need to get to hauling ass the second the level starts. Problem is, the screen will not scroll forward until every enemy on screen has perished. Yeah, sometimes you can get them with a tidal wave, but it's never a guarantee. Sometimes you'll have to take a minute to fight them directly, but these aren't weak enemies either. They'll take a beating long enough for the wave to catch up, and then nobody wins. I gotta be honest, even though it isn't terribly reliable, it's just best to try to bait them into the wave for an instant death, and then keep going. But now I want to take a second to talk about these more action-y set pieces that Gekido has. Isn't it odd the subway explosion is survivable after, but the tidal wave is an instant restart? I feel like they both should be the same, but the former just doesn't work like that for some reason. A lot of the stuff in this game doesn't seem to work properly. Like, there's this one moment on top of a subway car where a helicopter drops 2 Inferno dudes to stop you, but with how they drop, it seems like they're supposed to be positioned in front of you when you come back to the level, but I'm always behind them instead for some reason. It feels like it's just, like, not properly coded or something, I don't know, or maybe that was the intention in the first place and I'm just overthinking. Also, another aspect I really don't like about this game is how enemies are free and roaming at the start of the level during the flyover intro. So they can all get into position to start beating your ass the second you are let loose into the game. It's very annoying. I've been super negative on this one so far, so let me take a bit to be positive now. Enemy design diversity is actually pretty good, can't lie. Especially when it comes to the bosses. There's a good spread of everything you'd expect, and a lot of stuff you wouldn't be. There's a good variety of simple street thugs, a lot of paramilitary dudes in berets, cops in blue, some of them who are literally just named police. Also, I'm a big fan of the ninja design design, since it reminds me a lot of the Kunoichi from the Ninja Saviors. You also get some killer robots to battle as well. The only enemy I really despised were the dogs, because they didn't have a conventional attack per se, but instead a cutscene attack, basically, where they leap on you and tear your throat out. There is no cooldown on this, and they can repeat it over and over again. It's even worse because for the most part, your most effective attack against the dogs is a close range kick that is only active when you're really close to them, aka in throat bite range. Some characters do have a good low attack that can beat them, but not everyone's so lucky. Thank God they only have like 1 health, basically. Boss-wise, though, that's where this one shines more than anything. I really like the Kappa guy you face in the boat level with Ushi and Tetsuo. All the bosses are total freaks, which gives them unique looks and movesets as well. You get to fight a dang gorilla in this one as well, meaning we can put that latest internet debate to bed. There, one man did it. We win. Except we can't put this one to bed, since Gorilla is actually one of the unlockable characters, and if you play him, you get to kill well over 100 dudes in the arcade run, so I'm sorry, but the debate must rage on. Getting even crazier, there's a dude in a biohazard suit who uses a flamethrower, not only as a weapon, but also as a jump jet. And how could I forget to mention the leather daddies who T-pose down the street, destroying everything around them as they do. I'll also take the time to now compliment the game's 2D art as well. It's very nice too. If you're a comic fan, you might actually be able to recognize the art style, since it belongs to a fairly well-known comic artist named Joe Madureira, I hope I pronounced your name right, who worked on a lot of Uncanny X-Men back in the day. After all this now, though, I'm gonna hop to the end game. In the conveniently named final stage, Enemy Base, you face a punishing gauntlet of enemies, and basically every boss you've faced up till now. Tons of them have guns, these blonde soldiers have grenades, and all of them have a bad attitude. Upon reaching the top of the tower, you encounter the girl that you set out to rescue, Angela, who is currently possessed by a demon. Who is currently possessed by a demon, and will immediately throw hands the second she sees you. Angela is an absolute fucking bitch to fight, since she's twice as fast as you in terms of movement and attack speed too, and she will use that speed to absolutely blast you with her insane normals, specials, and super attacks. Even when you start getting the upper hand on her, she'll instantly go into one of her supers, rendering her totally invincible and putting you right back on the back foot instantly. But if you tank through and beat her down hard enough, she'll shriek and fly off into the sky. You win! Oh. I guess not. Really, Gekido, you're gonna Kasumi ninja me like this? Fine, whatever. I can play this game again, I guess. Except, to unlock the true ending for Gekido, you have to beat the game not just once, twice, or thrice, but 7 times. Once for each of the default characters, 2 more for the characters you unlock, and 1 last time on the hardest difficulty. Not gonna lie to you guys, I got tired of this one after like 2 runs, but I nutted up and toughed it out to get the true ending. Playing video games is really hard work, guys. I hope you appreciate the hours I put in for you. The good thing is, as you play through Gekido with different characters, you progressively unlock not only new characters, but new modes to play in as well, including Shadow Fighter, which is like a normal arcade ladder mode, Team Battle, a mode I couldn't play because I had no friends, nor would I subject any to this game, and Survival, which is just arcade, but in gauntlet form, basically. It's nice to have all these, but When it came to beating the game on hard difficulty, though, it didn't really feel too different than normal. I'd still just mashed my way through. Maybe enemies do more damage or have more health. I honestly couldn't really tell you. Anyway, I confront Angela once again and I beat her ass down. Same thing happens as before, but this time your character has the intelligence to follow her to the rooftop. Here she transforms into the demon Akujin, one that you promptly throw hands with. Honestly, Akujin isn't even that hard of an opponent. I'd honestly say Angela was way worse to fight than him, since at least he's gigantic and thus an easier target to hit. Props to him for having a unique throw at least. So you square up with Akujin and you kill him, of course. After that, he transforms back into Angela, who, I guess under the weight of the sins she committed while being possessed, heads to jump, but is instead smited by God. Maybe. She just kind of disappears. Maybe she fell to her death? I have no idea what happened, really. Also, not gonna lie, the drama of the scene is kind of undercut by the fact that Funk Soul Brother is starting to play. Akujin is defeated! Angela is finally liberated from the evil demon who possessed her, and now she's fucking dead. But is it really all over? Well, actually, apparently not, since Gekido did manage to squeak out a sequel onto the Game Boy Advance 2 years later, which also got re-released onto mainline consoles in 2018 somehow. Maybe I'll check that one out, but that's gonna be it for Gekido, Urban Fighters. Yeah, this one's not dethroning Fighting Force, is my favorite PS1 beat 'em up. On its face, Gekido is a serviceable game. It's got some nice art, art, cool enemy designs, and can be pretty fun in short bursts. Just not 7 full playthroughs over the course of a day like with me. But the game just becomes a boring, frustrating slog to get through after a while, with enemies basically just ignoring your attacks half the time and abusing their insane iframes, which makes the game drag on and on. I will, however, praise it for the wealth of unlockable modes to play in. In truth, it's not a god-awful game by any stretch, but I wouldn't see myself going back to it anytime soon. Anyway, though, I'll call this one now. As always, dear viewers, my name is HadesManticore, and this here channel is CityStateManticore. Thanks a ton for watching. If you did, be sure to drop a like, a comment, and subscribe, because as always, more content to come. I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.